Hello and welcome to Briggs Week. As you see, today me and Brigadier Gotra, both of us are here to address you. And today we are going to talk to you about a very important aspect of preparation for DSSC entrance exam. We're going to talk to you about why people fail. It may sound slightly awkward that why are we starting with why people fail, but it is important to know what goes wrong while preparations because all of us are of the same intelligence level. We work equally hard. Our experience is almost the same when we appear in the exam. What is it that few people are able to qualify and others are not able to make? Both of us have actually been involved in checking the papers of Part D exams as well as DSSC entrance exam. We have also been fortunate to set papers. So we may be in a position to give you a little bit of insights. Welcome, Brigadier Gotra.
Thank you, Bhatia. We have selected this topic because that way we will be able to analyze why people fail and also suggest things which can be done to improve your preparation. When people fail, the society, or especially the spouse, starts taking you to be a dumb in spite of your hard work. So it is not the lack of preparation or the lack of intelligence in a person. There are a whole number of reasons for it why people fail. So we will go over these things one by one.
If we think about it in retrospective, there are many occasions where we can probably we've just overlooked those aspects. In today's conversation, Param, you and me should actually try to give out what possibly could have happened and what should have been done to avoid such not so major problems which are there in the preparation. They are very minor tweaks that are required to be done. So, first of all, I would like you to tell me when we start preparing, there is always a goal that is set. Even when we write a military appreciation, we first of all set out our aim or goal. So at times, I think that even in goal setting, people go wrong. Can you please highlight this aspect as we begin with the conversation?
There are two things in the setting. One is aiming too high. Like I've seen certain people start from the very go and start aiming for the competitive against you. As a result, what happens is their preparation gets started early or too early rather, or they in that preparation they fall in love with that subject, a particular subject, especially the technical people, because they think that the the science and miltech is their subject. Then they fall in love and they read it over and over again. Similarly, the armored people, they start feeling that appreciation is one of their forte. But unfortunately, if it is an appreciation on the CI ops, they are in a problem because people don't revise those things. Then is the peaking at the wrong time. Say, if I peak somewhere in July, then while appearing in September, I am on the downslide, and which should not be there. I remember a friend of mine when I had passed the exam in a particular year. A friend of mine said, "Sir, मैं आज appear कर जाता हूँ ना." That was in November. So I will pass the exam. I told him, "You will fail in the exam. Why? Because you are peaking at the wrong time." Then there is a confusion in the goals. What happens is some people say मैं TSC करना है, DSSC करना है, TSC करना है. As a result, कि ये नहीं तो ये पकड़ तो लूंगा, तो वो प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन स्टार्ट्स, वे विल स्टार्ट लेटर, ये वो कर. So you should have an aim DSSC. Now, if you have less time, you may settle for the TSC, but that is to be decided somewhere in the month of June, July, not in the month of January. So there also people go wrong in goal setting.
I will like to add here, Gotra. What happens is, जो आपने पहला point बोला ना, aiming too high. Uh, what happens when you aim too high, you start collecting all sorts of material. आप उसको फटाफट फोटो कॉपी करके, और आजकल तो खैर पीडीएफ स्कैनर है तो स्कैन करके आप डाल देते हैं, विच यू नेवर गेट टाइम टू रीड. इसमें मेरा एक सजेशन आई ऑलवेज गिव इट टू माय स्टूडेंट्स इज that don't copy or don't scan it and keep it, because you will never read it. It is better to start, you read it and make a small little gist with your own hand. Only that much of notes of on a particular subject is sufficient. Keep it. At least once you have read, or if you just scan it and keep it or just photocopy it, it may be worthless. You are actually collecting only the clutter, and subsequently you will miss out on the important points in this clutter. Some important paper you may not read at all. So don't give a false sense of possession of material to you. That material does not belong to you until unless you have read it or made little bit of notes.
Now, about the ineffective study techniques. First is not understanding the exam format. People fail to familiarize themselves with the type of questions which are going to, because they don't see the old question papers. And this leads to poor performance on the day of the test. The other part is in DSSC or TSC, you have to pass all the papers. So there also people go wrong in putting more efforts in one and the not putting effort on the other one. So at the cost of one paper, they do better in the other paper, but it is of no use if you have a distinction in that paper. It is of no use if you have failed in a particular paper. Then not restricting oneself to the meat. Like what Bhatia said earlier, there is a saying, don't miss the woods for the trees. People keep collecting army commander conference points, latest trends in the technological this thing, and they keep seeing Jains, ye wo. 90% of your paper comes from the material being provided by the DGMT or the pre-staff people. 5% questions come from outside. So what happens is people keep preparing for this 5%, keep collecting material for this 5%, and whatever material they have already, they do not read that. That is the 95% of the material. That is another problem. Then is the problem of reading habits. Now, in army, it has become a norm nowadays not to read books. What happens is you read the dark and everything, but you don't read the books otherwise. And the exam preparation is heavy. You have to read at least 30 to 40 pages a day. So, to set the momentum, my suggestion is to read some novels initially in first week or so. It may be Chetan Bhagat, it may be James Hadley Chase, it may be Harold Robbins, so that you know your capacity to read 70 to 80 pages of that light reading. And then that gives you a confidence in your capability. Now, if you are not comfortable with this, I can share my PDF of 2 chapters of my book. And if you are not able to read those 2 chapters in 15 minutes, then you have to work on your reading habit a bit more. So that is the problem, reading habit. Then is the reading the study material. Now, generally the absorption level in the first reading is about 5%. If you are a very, very intelligent person, it may be 10%. But a dud like me is only 5%. And in the fourth reading, it goes to about 80%. And more than 80%, I do not recommend, because you are aiming at 40% marks in this exam. So, for the papers like TAC A, Adam and Morale, Science and Miltech, you have to read the subject at least 4 times. Then is the subject like military history, you have to carry out reading of by for about 3 times, and then practice question answers. Make your own questions, make your answers. In that, we are also helping you in our videos. Material is also given by the USI, it is given by the clause nowadays. Then is the tag B. Tag B cannot be prepared in remote. So there you have to go with that mindset that you have to learn that tag B subject and marking and everything during your pre-staff course. If you miss out that, it will be difficult, because there you have these DSS who are available to check what is going wrong in this thing. Another suggestion is, in the Adam and Morale paper, you can there's 100 marks questions come from the military law, and it is my conviction that if you have read twice the MIML volume 1, you will score at least 90 marks. That is another conviction. Another thing is, this heavy reading, you have to have a pen or pencil in hand while reading the thing. It may be your first reading, it may be your second reading. And when you're doing that, think you are the paper setter. You have that in your mind. And keep marking, have some legend or something, star or something, and keep marking ke ye pakad liya question, ye pakad liya. It only helps you in the comprehension. It improves your comprehension. In the current affairs, the background knowledge helps, like what Bhatia has given you regarding the corridors, the other things. So it helps. It may not be correct, but certain questions are there which you can just template there and add a little bit, and then it is done. Another thing is, you wasting time on political issues and all. Don't even see those political issues. And also the current affairs, the things like strategic importance of a place, implications to India, lessons from that particular event, they are always helpful. So whenever you read the any text, you should have these things in mind: that strategic importance, what is the geostrategic importance or implications on India, or lessons for India, or lessons for somebody, army or anything. So that helps you in writing a question in that concise manner and not floundering at that place. So
Okay.
that much about the reading the study material.
Okay. I would like to add a few issues here, Gotra. One is, see, when we are checking the paper, you will agree with me, we are always short of time. So please restrict to number of words. They are very strictly, some of us who are sitting there, let's say there is a question which you have to finish in 200 words. At times, we don't even go beyond 200 words. Whatever you have to cover, you have to write in 200 words. So just because you know a subject well, don't overwrite. This will firstly, spoil your time management. Also, it is of no use because you are not trying to impress the checker or examiner by writing more on a particular subject. Then another thing I found, there is, please read the question very, very carefully. There are few key words that you must read. It can be explained, then you have to write it in detail. This is generally a that 50 mark question which you get in the first one. Then is it can be comment. There you have to give something more than the factual thing, that what exactly those facts mean. So you have to comment on it. There may be a question on enumerate. In enumerate, you have to give the point and give little bit of a very short explanation of each point that you have to say. Then there may be a question which is expecting you to list. In this, you have to just list the main points and you don't have to give explanations. So if you stick to this and understand all these from very clearly, your time frame will not go wrong in this. So don't overwrite. And generally, if you see, your time plan should be for every 1 mark, you should not spend more than 1 minute. So accordingly, you must answer and just stick to time correction word limit at all costs. So this is, I thought, I will add on to what Brigadier Gotra has told you already.
Very important, but yeah, the points are very relevant, and we will go over these things again, once again. The how to write the exam once we go nearer to the exam. For now, we will only restrict ourselves to the preparation, but very, very relevant points. People know everything and then also they fail. Then is the poor time management, like spending too much of time on less important topics, or failing to allocate sufficient time for revision. Now, your exam is in the month of September. So, 1 month before that, you have to have dedicated time for revision. Your preparation should finish before that. And then it is the revision. Then spending too much of time, like in the current affairs, again, the election, the politics, and all those topics which are not relevant at all, and you get into those type of things, and you naturally are going to lose. Whereas your wife will feel कि भी ये बहुत पढ़ाई कर रहा है, and at the end of it ये नालायक आदमी है. Some of your wives must be very very highly educated, so उसमें problem हो जाती है. Then at the end, underestimating the amount of material. Now I said the material which is given by the DGMT or the pre-staff is sufficient. Now that also is quite a bit. The volume of that is quite a bit. In my time, I used to take it, but this was around each subject was about 600 to 700 pages. So overall, it came to about 4,000 pages or something. Now, the reading speed of a normal man is 30 pages in a day. And if you divide it by that and you have to carry out revisions 4 times or 5 times, read that before the revision starts, you are really, really short of time. And you should sit down, carry out an analysis ki what all I have to read and what are the time available to me, how many times I can read over it, so that you don't fall short at the last minute and don't spend more time on one thing and spend less time on one thing. So
Yeah, here I
analyzing
would
the
like to add on to what Gotra has said. When I was doing pre-staff, one of the DS had told us that you need approximately 1,000 hours of preparation while appearing in the exam. Somebody who's very intelligent may take about 200 odd hours less, and somebody who takes time to understand things may go up to 1,200 hours. But 1,000 hours, again, if you divide by the time that is available to you, it very clearly states that about 8 hours per day you may have to dedicate. So, on one hand, we are recommending don't peak at too early, but we are also saying at the same time that start your preparation in January, followed by pre-staff, and thereafter continuously keep studying. Don't try to rush the things in the end. Many of us are not able to retain what we have read at the last moment. So keep this factor of 1000 hours of preparation in your mind while you are preparing for the exam, and take out the time from your daily routine right from the time of in the month of January only. Yeah, over to you, Brother Gotra.
Next is regarding the lack of focus or motivation. Now, there are a lot of distraction nowadays, and it was there earlier also. In our times, also, it was there. Nowadays, we have the social media, which is a problem. You start doing something, and you start seeing the reels, and you continue doing it for 1.5 hours or 2 hours, and then you keep wasting time. Or the entertainment, or the pornography, or anything like that. In our time, it used to be much better that only text was available. So text may you could only survive for about 10 minutes. Now here you have to keep going through the juicy photographs and all those things. So that's a big and also distraction in terms of people sleeping very late because of the social media or anything. As a result, they are not able to get up early, and the you have to see which is the right time for you to prepare, study. Comprehension, you have to see which time my comprehension is better. And for God's sake, don't sleep less than 7 hours during this preparation. Otherwise, you're most welcome to sleep 8 hours or 9. But less than 7 hours, your comprehension will go down and it will lead to other distractions. Then is the low motivation. I already touched upon it, the subject matter not being of your interest. Then the type of presses which are written generally, they are not of uh, very good quality. Flow is not there. So you have to dedicate time. You have to keep push yourself. You have to really push yourself to read. So your motivation, if it is low, then it is difficult for you to motivate. And then you can have certain other goals or motivations. Like I knew there is a IDT tour which happens in the DSSC. I wanted to be on the special train for that and booze around the whole time. And that was my motivation. Some people also have this motivation. Like also my father could not pass the staff college. I said, I will pass the staff college. That was another motivation. Then some people had the motivation that they will go and visit the South Indian states, which you never get chance to visit those states. Then uh, another the highly ambitious people have this motivation that in the staff college they will be able to interact with the DSS who are going high in the rank. So they have made their plan for the journey to higher ranks. So that's another motivation. Some people also have this motivation that फुद्दू नहीं कहलाना. So that is also a motivation कि otherwise people will call you sir ji क्या हाल है. The moment you don't speak past staff college, you are a fuddu then in the eyes of your juniors also. Seniors तो होता ही होता है. So you have to see yourself कि भी मैंने करना क्या है, किस
Yeah.
लिए करना है.
Yeah, in this case, my motivation was slightly. People may find it strange. My motivation was that if you don't clear your staff college, that's the end of professional study as far as your career is concerned. After you're not done staff college, you can forget about some good courses, or maybe you may go for senior command and forget about higher command and NDC subsequently. Somehow I wanted to have continuous study, professional study, and I felt if I don't clear my staff college, that's the end of my professional following the profession that I am in. So I wanted to be the best and amongst my course, and I said the minimum requirement is to do DSSC. Uh, Promotion that time was also a motivation that your chances of promotions go up, and all of us who have joined Indian Army, at least we think that we must at least command our respective battalions, units, regiments. So that should also motivate you to make sure that you are not less than others, And it's a competitive exam. And especially if you have the ability to work hard, you must clear this exam by following certain suggestions that we are giving to you. Yeah, over to you, Pragada.
Then is the test anxiety and the stress, overwhelming stress. Now, what happens is this stress and anxiety, they negatively impact the concentration and performance during the test and also the preparation. So, my suggestion is थोड़ा पाठ पूजा, exercise, meditation करना बहुत जरूरी है. Even if it is half an hour or so, it is so it keeps your mind into a right place. Then is the negative mindset. सर, मेरे को तो छुट्टी नहीं मिली, मैं तो पीछे रह गया. सर, बाकी तो पूरा खत्म करके बैठ गए, मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं किया. And cribbing. No, what happens is whatever you are able to do, you are not able to do that also in that whatever time you have. So put that negative mindset to one side के and see कि भी मैंने ये करना है. Generally, I keep myself saying that मैं लंबी रेस का घोड़ा हूँ. The moment you say that, your negative mindset goes to a side. So please don't have that negative mindset. It will affect your preparation. Anything on that, Bhatia?
Yeah. No, my suggestion is that take positive thoughts, let positive thoughts flow into your mind. You you concentrate on what you have covered the entire day. Before going off to sleep, you must make an evaluation of what you have done the entire day. Every day will not be the same. If you're not able to reach your goal of in terms of number of pages, if you have set the goal or a number of hours that you need to put in, or some topic that you have decided that I will finish it by so and so time. If you're not able, if you're able to finish that, that should give you a motivation, and you look forward to the next day that I will start a fresh topic. But if for some reason you're not able to complete it, don't feel bad. There will be number of occasions next day. Only thing is you have to put in more effort and put in more time to cover it. So that positively keeps your mind engaged. And it is like you said, you have to be a lambi race ka ghoda. You have to continuously prepare it. And it is not a day or two or 1 week which can set you back. But yes, it is in terms of months. In case you have an iota of doubt that you may not get leave because there is some other officer who's appearing from your unit, or you are in staff, you may not get sufficient leave. We are in January today. You have full-fledged 9 months. Start preparing now so that you do not regret that if I had got the leave, and you have sufficient time to prepare. Don't go all hog and burn yourself initially. Plan. Start with 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. By end of January, you should reach about 6 to 8 hours per day. So that should be the aim of how to go about preparing for the exam. Never ever indulge in self-pity, not to yourself, and not in front of anybody else, including your family. Don't indulge in self-pity, because that will reinforce the negativity in you. Just keep your thoughts positive that you will be able to do it, and it is only matter of sitting down, put your head down, and continuously work.
Now, next is the health issues. Physical well being is very important. If you are not well, then preparation will always be not up to the mark. And your concentration and the cognitive abilities will go down. So, there are very simple things to do. Avoid the junk food, eat some probiotics, half a bowl of curd or something is important. Keep yourself hydrated. This is another problem. You are not hydrated, you start getting headache, you start blaming your this thing that I have studied too much, and my health is not all right, then during the summers having an air conditioner, it is better. In our times it was not there, but it is better to have one. You can, your efficiency improves. And during winters it is have to better to have a warm place to work, so that you don't get into a cold situation or anything like that which affects your time plan. So looking after your health is also important. Lack of sleep is another problem. We have already discussed about it. It affects your memory, it affects your focus, it affects your cognitive functions. So lack of sleep we should avoid. Then this happens in the you must have seen in the JC course. People study about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and they land up in the Charlie grading or even lower. What happens is they are not able to comprehend what is being taught in those classes. So as a result, the marks in the exams are low. AE exams are low. Not that they're not intelligent, they are dumb, but because of this lack of sleep, a lot of people suffer. Then is the mental health issues. Conditions like depression, anxiety, and other mental struggles can interfere your academic process. So everybody knows his problems. Everybody, like if I am dyslexic, I know about it. I have to study a little bit more. I have to memorize things a little bit more. So each one knows about his problem and each one has got his solutions, and that can always be overcome. But again, what Bhatia said, getting into a self pity mode, it will not help at all. So, looking after your mineral health and all those things, vitamins, mineral health is also important, because that also leads to depression, anxiety, and all those things. So, supplements are also important.
Okay, here I will caution you because when we appeared in 97, 98, so that is the time there were medicines which other course and our fellow competitors were taking. Some memory enhancement Ayurvedic medicine, some sleep, anti-sleep medicine.
Deprivation.
Refrain from these sort of gimmicks, I will say. Refrain from taking all this. This does not help. After reaching a level, we saying we haven't heard anybody who's taken this medicine who's done well in life. So these are all the ये कमजोरों के हथियार हैं. Refrain from doing that. Second issue about your mental health issues, you see, you are at such a age now that you are newly married, you have young children, your parents are getting into little bit of medical issues. So these all will continue. This is part of life. It happens with everybody. So don't get frustrated just because my wife is not keeping well, or my child's health is not good, or my father is unwell, so I had to go there and look after. All of us at some stage or the other during preparation have fallen victim to these sort of situations. But how early you are able to, don't neglect it also on the pretext that you're preparing for DSSC. This is part of life, and you have to address these problems. But it is just that when you get back with a vengeance, and whatever time you could not devote to your preparation, you spend that much of extra time by fully concentrating on the job at hand. So this is my advice to you.
Bhatia, here I would say, like to say that whenever I have appeared for the exam, on the previous night, I have a peg of rum, single peg of rum, and then I go off to sleep at 10 o'clock, come what may. And exam is absolutely fine. With a fresh mind, I am able to attempt all the questions. There is no problem at all. So we move to the next issues. No issues. Hmm. External pressures. Like Bhatia said, there are a lot of problems like the finances, your marital discords, family problems, parents having issues with you, you are having issues with your in laws, try to solve these problems beforehand. In any case, there are a lot to be done in the life as soon as you commission, like saving the money. Money is a big problem nowadays. If you are always in a debt, it creates a problem for your mental listing. Then is the choosing a right wife for yourself. If she is a problem, then you had it. Then parental or peer expectations or even your wife's expectation. It is difficult. You land up in a unit where everybody is doing well, and then you have somehow not neglected your courses and you've not been able to do well. You get into a lot of pressure. Now, one way is to take it positively and motivate yourself to do better than those chaps, or the other one is to take it as negatively and then get into. I remember in one of the course, one of my this thing course mate, he used to come to my room, and then me and my he used to be a nuisance rather. Me and my roommate used to start discussing the some questions which we had pre-decided, and he will get in panic and then go back again. On the final day of exam, he says, "I am not going to appear in the exam." Somehow we were able to motivate. He got an alpha, but that is a different thing. We got delta. So peer pressures also is a problem. Do not succumb to it. You are you, they are they. So go on, bash on regardless. ठीक है ना? Then there is the social comparison. Again, your in-laws will start comparing you with the others. वो भी उसने तो स्टाफ कॉलेज कर लिया है, छोटे मुंह से बात करते हैं, छोटे छोटे बातों से. Again, don't it should not undermine your confidence. मैं तो लंबी रेस का घोड़ा हूँ, यहाँ नहीं होगा तो कहीं कर लूंगा, पर मैं करूंगा जरूर, छोड़ूंगा नहीं. तो social comparisons and all should not deter you from doing well. You are preparing for staff college in this 9 months. You are going to do it absolutely right. That should be your aim. So that is the this thing. Anything on this, Bhatia?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. These are part and parcel of the life, and but yes, they are probably maximum at that time when you have to strike a balance between so many issues that crop up. I have spoken about your kids, your wife's problem, your parents-in-law, society, comparison, your own expectations in the unit. All these, come at you at the same time. But you have to overcome, and you have to tell yourself so many of army offers. Now I think it's the 80th course that is going on. So for so many years, people have done it. So you are also capable. And another thing I say is that we've all gone through the same SSB. So our intellect level is same. There's nowhere you have the same level of examinees appearing in a particular in a particular exam as in DSSC, DSTC exam. So you are, as of today, as we are talking on 3rd of January 2025, everybody is at the same scale. The race begins now.
Exactly.
It is 9 months, same amount of time, same books, same level of knowledge, and all of you have done JC, all of you have done your respective courses of your arms and services. You are at, everybody is at the same base level. So the race begins now, and start preparing. And 9 months is a long time, and I'm sure with hard work and planned hard work, not unplanned way, planned hard work, you will be successful. Yeah,
Another thing we will discuss nearer to the exam is the exam strategy,
yeah,
because giving it out now is of no use.
correct. Right.
Another part is we have not discussed the lack of preparation or procrastination, because If it was that way, then you wouldn't be seeing this video at all. So you would not be seeing this video at all. So we are very, we know what is there. And because of our experience, we also know the psychology of the people who are setting the papers. They also do not have much leeway, because if everybody fails in the exams, then it is a problem for the people who set the papers. That is generally a lieutenant general or something. What happens is it is passed down to some lackey like us, Major Saab or Colonel Saab, who makes the paper and then does everything, and then it is just approvals up the chain. So we've got experience of setting the paper, we've got experience of checking the paper, we know where people fail. So that is why we thought better to give. So overall, I would say that success in the exam is a combination of factors like preparation, time management, health issues, uh, understanding the material, going through the material. It's a whole lot of issue. And my suggestion is sit down with a pen and pencil, carry out an analysis of the presentation, carry out an analysis. इस ये दो बुड्ढों ने ये बातें तो कही नहीं, just find
Mhm.
out those things and write it down on the comments. We may be able to answer, or we may have missed out those things. So see this and then come back to us if there is something missing. So we will try to put it that way also. There are some people who know more than us.
Now, I
Over to
would like
Bhatt.
to add another very important thing, start getting into habit of writing, because what happens is nowadays most of us are are keying in most whatever we have to, say. And I see in the units also, and especially at the age and service at which officers are appearing in DSSC exam, in the unit you are not getting adequate, opportunities to write your papers or issues like that. First of all, I suggest when you read something, after you have finished a chapter, just close the book and try and jot down the highlights that you remember from the book. Get hold of a comfortable pen. Its flow should be good. Don't finish the entire ink in that pen. Keep that after writing few pages with that particular pen. Keep it as a reserve, because all these factors make a lot of difference in your speed. Don't forget, you have to continuously write for 3 hours there, and we are not in a habit of writing for so long. So, and your hand and your mind speed should be same. That comes with practice. At times what happens is the mind starts thinking much faster than you can actually write. Get into the habit of thinking slowly while you are writing. So that also helps, and it does come from practice. What works for me, I can share is that I feel that whatever I've written at least twice, the answer, twice if I have written the answer, I start owning that particular answer to that question. If I don't write it down, so somehow I feel for some time that I remember the answer, but maybe it's when it is the time to deliver, I miss out on points.
Yeah.
Another important thing is that let's say there are 10 points to a question. Nobody is expecting you to write all 10. Don't forget, the passing marks are 200 out of 500. Out of 10, even if you write 60%, you are well above your passing marks. Yeah, please.
One more thing. Make sure that you make your spouse also see this video, because in the physical health, mental health, anxiety, all those things, your spouse can really help you.
Thank you. All the best. Gotra, thank you very much. I think we've had a very good discussion, and thank you for putting us wise. With this, we come to the end of today's episode. We will do some more episodes like this, and very soon, operational art. I had received a few comments. There is another episode which is under preparation, and very soon we'll be uploading that, and also few episodes on current affairs as well as on military history. Thank you. Keep working hard. Jai Hind.